Hi, welcome to Cottage Industry Fibers episode 8. I am Kim, also known as Continental Kim, on Ravelry, Plurk, and Instagram.
And I'm Kristin. I am Silver on Plurk. Come to Silver on Ravelry. No, K-Bell on Ravelry. Yeah. My website is cometosilver.com.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you are returning and giving us another go, we really appreciate you coming and hanging out with us for a bit. And if this is your first time, welcome. Thank you for checking it out. And feel free to come on to the Cottage Industry Fibers group on Ravelry and share your thoughts and ideas about the podcast. Love to hear your feedback. You want to go ahead and jump into whips?
Sure. Let's see, my current work in progress. I showed you this last time I was with Kim. My viajante, which I have since found out that that is a Portuguese word that means, what does it mean? It means traveler in Portuguese. And apparently it's pronounced viajante or viajante, viajante. I'm not Portuguese, so I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't speak Portuguese either.
But this is my progress so far. It's a little bit longer than last time.
It's so hard to tell on that pattern.
Yeah.
I brought mine to show, but I'll show it in a little bit too.
Pull it out while I'm showing mine.
Okay. Let's see. So I have a viajante. Okay. Two, but I had to dig it out here. And this is the one that I'm doing, and yours is in
Malabrigo lace in the color Arcos Iris.
And mine is made from, oh gosh, I have way less done than you do. It's not a race.
That's surprising.
Thank goodness it's not a race. Mine is made from Woolmize Pure, which is the 100% wool in the colorway Am Cotton Polar. I don't know what that means. It's something.
It's beautiful.
So, so this is mine. I'm trying to pull the needles out.
That was close.
That was really close. Okay, hold on. I gotta rescue this project real quick. Because what I'm doing with this is, this needle is the proper gauge for knitting this project. But this one that the stitches feed off of, because these are Haya Sharp interchangeables. And so the stitches that this feeds off of, that needle is actually 2 sizes smaller, so that the stitches will feed off that much easier and faster.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
Yeah, but then you take the risk
of it falling off,
sliding right off of the project. Right. So I was like, ah! So anyways, this little lovely stitch marker from... Oh, yeah.
Show them together.
Okay, wait. There.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this little stitch marker is my progress from the last time I showed it. So, see, it's a little bit more. Yeah. And it will be slower going as I get further because this one gets bigger every single row.
Right.
So I actually had it set up. So, I talk about this project a couple of different times and then haven't really shown. It's kind of a cool design where you can wear it, as a regular or almost triangular shawl wrapped around your neck, or because it's actually knit in a tube, even though it gets bigger, you start off knitting it not in a tube and then you join the kind of triangle and then it gets bigger and bigger as you go around. And it makes this design, and this is a great picture of it when you actually open it up and put it on, where the top part is almost like a cowl. See how big that thing is? Now, I'm a big girl. It's not going to be that big on me because it's going to, my shoulders are wider, so it's not going to hang down that far. But so this was one that was made out of Woolmize lace. Oh, I'm making mine out of Woolmize lace, not Woolmize Pure.
Woolmize lace.
Sorry, Woolmize lace. And so you can open it up and wear it like a cowl and drape it down and kind of... here's the other picture that Martina... It's actually by Martina Bam. Did you say that?
I did not.
Okay. And here she is wearing hers opened up, and then the long kind of pointy bit is... Her arm is in it. That's what's kind of coming to the side there. So it's actually kind of... That's her arm. Oh, hey. That's her arm. Um, but so it's a really kind of unique design, and I thought it would be great for me, at least in my car, you know, when it gets colder, and I can wear it kind of like a
One
cowl.
thing I like about it is that when you wear the long part down the back, you can be a superhero.
It's a cape.
It's a cape.
I love it.
Yes.
So, okay, what else have you got?
Although, what's her name in Incredible says no capes.
Oh, I don't know what her name is.
Cute little the black-haired lady. Okay, since last time, I cast on a new project because I showed you my whips last time, and I was working on a sock, a plain vanilla sock, and working on the Viajanti. And that's pretty vanilla also. It's all stockinette with just some increases, and I got so bored. I was just like, I don't want to knit. I realized
At
that
all?
I didn't.
You were that bored?
I was just bored. I thought about my whips, and I was like, ugh. So I realized that I really need a lace project, you know. So whenever I'm working vanilla, I also need a lace project. So if I want to just not think about knitting, knit while I'm watching TV, I can pull out my vanilla knitting. And then when I want to challenge myself, I pull out my lace knitting. So I decided, I don't have a picture of this. Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Could you pull up a picture?
Let me see what I got.
So I started a Herbert Niebling pattern, which I don't know if you're familiar with Herbert Niebling, but he creates the most intricate and beautiful lace patterns. He does a lot of doilies and stuff like that, but you know, you can knit them and make them shawls. So anyway.
I don't have Wi-Fi in here.
Oh, well, I will pull it up in a second.
Wait, yes I do. I
was
forgot
like,
I have your code.
Surprise, you should be connected to my Wi-Fi. So I started, this is my Niebling. You can't really see much at current.
You have a picture, though, that you took. Didn't you take it opened up?
I think so.
I think I'll steal it off of your feed or something and
Yeah.
put it in there so you can get a better look. I love his patterns.
But anyway, this is out of Jade Sapphire Lacy Lamb in red. It's the colorway is 225, but it's just red. And something funny I learned. Show this picture
okay.
first, okay?
Sorry.
This is a finished one, and as
Isn't-
you can see, it's breathtaking.
Isn't that amazing? All of his stuff is like that. Where it's just amazing lace work where he's actually almost painting with lace, you know, because he's making...
It's just so pretty. This one in particular, the guy who knit this one, he did his own custom edge here. So that's not actually part of the pattern, but I'm really going to try to mimic that because I think it's finished so beautifully.
See, look at that edge. That's just crazy. That's beautiful.
So you see how beautiful this piece of artwork is. And it's called Copri Tavolo, which I learned is an Italian word.
Which makes it exotic.
It's exotic. It's Italian. It means tablecloth.
I love that.
I thought that was funny.
Most of his patterns are actually designed to be doilies, knit with like crochet cotton, like the really fine stuff. And so you see these intricate patterns, and a lot of times people don't realize that their finished size is like this big a lot of times in the original design. So, but a lot of people in Ravelry are using them now to go and make circular shawls or square shawls, or he has some triangular ones that were actually designed to be shawls. But he's got some amazing patterns. It's crazy.
I'm just pulling it up on my computer because I want to show you another picture that gives you an idea of how big it is when it's finished.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, so this is what happens when you make a doily into lace.
Yeah, that's a tablecloth. Yeah. So anyway, this is my first Niebling pattern, and I think Niebling patterns are notorious for just being intricate and gorgeous and everything. And I have to say, the pattern itself, well, first of all, the original patterns are written in German. They're, you know, everything's in German, and I don't speak German. So, who is it that translates them? Doily Head.
Oh, yeah.
doilyhead.com. She takes needling patterns and translates them into English, so I have the translated version. But they're still pretty difficult because as opposed to like a regular lace pattern that it says, you know, it just, I don't know, it says cast on this many and, you know, knit this row, and then the wrong side row is all knit or whatever. This one just gives you the chart of the actual stitch patterns or the lace pattern, and they're German charts. I don't know where I was going with that. They're German charts. And they're kind of, they're odd. I don't want to show all of this because it is a paid pattern, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of it. But they're kind of hard to understand, okay? So this is a little portion of the pattern. And notice all the white squares? Those are no stitches. So like on this row, you're gonna, you know, you're gonna yarn over, slip, slip, knit. I think that's what it is. No, what's that one called?
Oh, center double decrease.
Yeah, it's a center double decrease. And then you move your line over here, and then that's your next stitch, and you move again, and that's your next stitch. So they're a little bit, they're not difficult, but it's not what I'm used to.
Because a lot of times with the American patterns, a solid white stitch, you know, for people who read charts, that's a knit stitch.
Right.
Whereas in a German pattern, that's a ignore this place and keep moving till you find another symbol.
And like right here where you see like two, I don't know if I'm holding that still enough there, but that's two knit stitches together. So whereas an American pattern, it would have just white boxes. This one gives you a two, which I like. I just wish that it was all condensed and all those white boxes were taken out. So. But anyway, it's actually not a difficult pattern to knit. I actually find that it's pretty easy to just look at the pattern and see where you're going and then not even look at it while you're knitting the rest of the row. So
I think that's why they do the patterns that way, is so that one of the things about chart knitting, specifically lace, is that if you can learn to read your pattern or read your knitting, essentially what that means is as you're knitting, you can look at the design and you can see, okay, this is supposed to be forming a petal, and as I'm knitting, this petal didn't quite line up right, so I know it's wrong. That's called like reading your knitting. It's just making sure that as you're knitting, things are lining up properly. And I think that's why the charts are that way, is because it's easier to see how the knitting should look as you're knitting it. But all that white space, like Kristin had on hers, it's not highlighter tape, but it's just like like highlighter tape.
Yeah, I just used some Post-it notes and cut them, and
so you can track across to the next symbol.
Yeah, so it's really not difficult, but I think for some people it may be a little intimidating when you look at the pattern for the first time. But once you really get into it, it's no more difficult than any other lace pattern that I've done. But what she was saying, how, you know, you're reading the pattern. For example, right here, can you see that row of double decreases or center double decreases? So like when you're knitting along and you get to that, you know that's where your center double decrease should go. And if you're off, you know you've made a mistake. And the same with like the leaf patterns. You can see how the decreases along the side. So when I get to the next row, I know right here I'm going to do another double center decrease, which is going to bring that point of the leaf closed. So anyway, cool. I really enjoy lace knitting. I mean, it's funny. I enjoy plain vanilla. Like if I'm knitting a sweater or something, I really like just stocking up sweaters. But I also love lace. Mm-hmm. Speaking of lace, those are my works in progress. Last time you saw my Fiore de Sol before blocked, and it is now finished. It's blocked and stretched out, and so that's what it looks like.
That looks so pretty. I love this type of edging.
Yeah.
That's very similar to what would be on like a needling pattern too, where it's, you know, got that.
I like this detail at the back center, the giant leaves.
Yep, I like that a lot too. That's so cool.
So
that's such a pretty pattern.
The reason why I knit this one is because it was so similar to a Haruni, which I love the Haruni pattern. I'm sure you've heard of that one. It's a free pattern. And I've actually knit 5 Harunis. But say I like that pattern because it's a lace pattern. It keeps my brain going, but it's almost like a vanilla knit for me because it's really easy to read the pattern. And I mean, you know, read the lace and know where you're going. And that was like my traveling project. So whenever I would go somewhere, I'd cast on another Haruni. There's one right there.
Oh, there it is. You want to grab it?
Yeah.
Oh,
This is one of the Harunis that I knit. But you can see that the pattern is almost similar to that one. But anyway, I cast that one on because I was like, I really want to do another Haruni, but I'm not allowing myself to do another Haruni.
Number 6.
Right. So, I mean, I knit, let's see, I traded one away. I knit one for somebody else. So I have 3 of them myself. I've got a white one, a pink one, and a red one.
And you wear those a lot, too.
Yeah, I really, these are knit, I knit all 3 of them out of wool mice. And I think it's the sock weight one.
Mm-hmm.
It's either 80/20 or the pure. But I knit them out of wool mice. And wool mice is a very, it's almost like a rugged yarn. Although I have a pool right there. But you know what I mean. It's not real delicate. So these are great because they're beautiful, but you don't really have to be all delicate with it. And, you know, I'll wear them as a shawl or a scarf like this. And, you know. So,
Very cool.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, do you have any more knit whips?
I do. I have another one.
Okay, cool.
Last time I was talking about spinning, and I was talking about how I was spinning, this loop bat, and how it changes colors, and I said that I was going to spin it
And the Navajo play?
Navajo pine. She did it again. And I wanted to show you an example of that. I mentioned, I was like, oh, I wish I had my sweet dreams, because that's how I did that. But this is one that I spun and then Navajo applied, so you could see how it retains those color changes. This yarn, or this fiber, was more of a just really multicolor, hand-painted braid. But anyway, you can see how, I Navajo plied, so this is 3-ply, but the colors stay together pretty well. So, anyway, this is the Sweet Dreams by Boo Knits. It's in the In Love collection by Boo Knits. So I think that collection's like $15 for 5 patterns. But I just love this one. I mean, look how beautiful that edging is.
Yeah, I like how you put like I don't know if it's showing knit, the bead right at the tip of every one of those.
I did
teardrops.
Yeah, that's extra. I did that myself. But I just love that one. Anyway, I wanted to show you that, how 3 Navajo plying can keep your colors together. So those are those. Did you have any whips or anything you wanted to show?
I do. I have a couple knitting whips. One of them is the one I'm working on right now. I did last weekend I went away to Mount Dora, Florida, for a mini owners get together, and the whole purpose of going there was we were going to be doing a pub crawl. So I did not want to bring knitting that had any chance whatsoever of getting destroyed.
Pub crawling involves drinking.
A lot. We actually weren't too bad. I mean, all the mini owners for the most part are kind of not old, but we're not like a bunch of, college students or anything. So
it's respectable, but they do drink.
Yeah.
And drinking does not mix with lace.
No. So really I only have the Viajanti.
Let's just call it Viajante.
Okay, that's what we're calling it Viajante because that's what we've been calling it for ages. I've just got that one, and then I've got this. This is the Bad Amy 80/20 stripy sock that I said was gonna be the next sock that I cast on. I actually did it, which is rare for me.
I love those colors. That's so fun.
I love it.
Mine's right there.
Yep, I see it up there. Cool. This is the colorway Motor Lodge, And it was based on a Howard Johnson's. I think I put the picture into the podcast.
I think you did.
It's based on a picture of Howard Johnson's Motor Lodge. And I'm like, that is so awesome. And I love these colors together. So I'm just doing a vanilla sock. I toe up with the Judy's Magic Cast On. I always mix up the Judy's Magic Cast On and the Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off. I always call them one or the other. But Judy's Magic Cast On. And then I did do another Fish Lips Kiss Heel. And I have it on my my signature size 2 DPNs. But to do the heel, I really liked, I switched to a Magic Loop with the Addy Sock Rocket for that. Because I just, for me, it's easier to do that kind of back and forth short row style heel using a Magic Loop technique or like a two circs. But that's me. I have a harder time doing it on my DPNs, although I really like my DPNs a lot. But anyways, so that's what it looks like, and that's really all I've done. I really just, I took it with me and I knit while we were away, and then just podcast knitting, just basic vanilla sock pattern, and like I said, the Viagante, and that's really all I knit this whole last week.
You did a lot of fiber prep, though.
I did a lot of fiber prep this week, and I did a lot of spinning this week. So, for spinning works in progress, I don't have any right now. Because I finished a bunch of what I was doing. So, I do technically have one. I have the support spindle that I showed last week, but that's going to be like a really long-term project where I do a little bit here and a little bit there. So, I'm not going to show y'all every single week. This is how far I've gotten.
I wish you had brought it, because I'd like to watch you work on yours.
Well, I did bring it, but I just don't have it.
Okay. Speaking of support spindling, I watched her with her support spindling, and of course she works like the grace of a ballerina, and I'm just like, that looks really easy. I want to get one of those. It's not that easy. So this is the one I picked up. This is
so pretty.
A Catherine Kowalski Russian style spindle, and the wood, the color, she has several different colorways, or I guess, yeah, colorways. And this one is called the Painted Desert, and she's Daystar 07 on Etsy. I picked this one up. I didn't get this one off of Etsy. I got it off of a D-Stash on Ravelry. But I was like, yeah, I could do that. Kim can do it. I can do it.
You can do it.
No. It's not the same.
You can totally do it.
I swear, I feel so awkward when let me try and show you. I don't know if it's too low. Can you just hold the bow? Okay.
This is
so
me.
Here's me trying to use a support spindle. Okay. That was actually pretty good. But this is way different than drop spindling, which I feel like I'm pretty decent at, but this is, I don't know. But I think I've figured out that this particular style of spindling, see, that's what I do. This particular style is better for short fibers or silky fibers, or I don't know. It's better for things that you would long draw. And I'm an inchworm. This is the way I draft.
We're going to totally sit down after we're done recording and do it a little bit, and I'll give you some pointers.
Okay. So, I don't know. She'll probably show me, and I'll be like, oh! But anyway.
I'll do a video sometime. I'll do that, too.
I got that much done. That's 2 days worth of practice, so it's not terrible.
No, not at all. You're doing good.
It's just really awkward. Using a drop spindle, of course I dropped it last time I tried to show you. But using a drop spindle, I think it's much better suited for inchworming.
Yes.
Is that what you call it, the inchworm?
Short forward draw when you're on a wheel. I don't know if you would consider it.
See, it's still spinning too.
I think it's still short forward draw, but I don't know.
But I do understand the lure of a supported spindle, because you could just work there in your lap and not worry about it. But I'm going to give it a try. I'm not going to give up on it yet.
Yeah, because it's a totally new It's more of a long draw technique, and it's also it's a new muscle memory for
Yeah.
you. Because for you, not support spindling, drop spindling and wheel spinning is so natural now. It's it's almost entirely muscle memory.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so you're kind of retraining your muscles to do something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you'll get it.
Yeah. I mean, I was the same awkward, when I started drop spinning too. So maybe it'll come to me. But I don't know. Maybe this fiber isn't the right. It's not. It's just superwash merino, which drafts pretty well. Speaking of, these are Rolags that I made. I made a whole bunch of them. And what I did is I just carded a braid and made my own Rolags, which was fun.
Cool.
So pretty.
They're so pretty. I love those colors.
Yeah. So what were you gonna say about this?
I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't remember.
Can you do it like that?
Well, that was one of the things I was going to show you. Where's your little bowl? Here, I'll spin while you. We're doing this again. This is going to be great. Okay, so the one thing with a support spindle, and I'm not familiar with this one. It's got kind of a fatter tip up here than I'm used to. If you keep your single a little bit higher, and this is just the way that I know to do it, what it makes. Well, I'm blocking what I'm doing with my hand here. The whole thing is you're kind of spinning off of this tip. Okay, see, there's a nice little pointed tip. And if you keep your single more up like this, rather than trying to put some twist in and then draft out like this, that's going to work a little bit better for you. So, let's see if I can do this where it stays in the camera. Okay, so I've got some twist built up. Oh, yeah, you need to play with mine a little. So I can draft out with just that little bit of twist. I can draft out quite a bit of fiber, and then once I've got it to where it's got the length I want it to be, I can add some twist, and then I bring it down here, and I keep it. This is very weird having you as a table. I'm like, wow, my bowl is moving. No, you're fine.
Put it on my head.
But you load it up right here instead of trying to load it down here every time, and then bring it back up to where it's close to the tip. And see, there's still some twist built up in here, and I actually would go ahead and draft a little bit out, get a little twist, draft a little more, get a little twist.
See how easy she makes it look?
She can do this. And then add a bunch of twist. Woo! See, this one is a little fatter up here, and I like mine a little bit thinner because it's easier to, I think, flick the twist into it. And then load it up, bring it back up like this, and then see, now you can load a whole bunch in this area here, and then when you're done, you've got enough on there that makes it's gotten to the point it's kind of hard to flick it. Then usually with the spindle still in a bowl. Oh, there we go. You can butterfly it off onto your hand so that it's just back and forth between these fingers, and then load it up onto the cup down here.
So how much fiber do you think can go on there?
You can get quite a bit onto a support spindle because the bowl is carrying all the weight, so you don't have to worry about it breaking your single. I've seen people load like more than an ounce onto a support spindle.
Now that's this is only the second Rolag on that. So
yeah, so probably not quite as much on this one.
Yeah.
But it depends on the spindle. I have a Puyak style support spindle made by Malcolm Fielding, and it looks more like an upside down drop spindle where it's got a larger whirl at the bottom and it's kind of flat. And I think that one can take a lot of fiber.
So you can load a lot of fiber.
Right. So there you go. I don't know if I messed up your roll at all there.
Messed it up, right?
Well, I mean, down here I kind of grabbed it.
Nah, it's fine. But yeah, I will give that some more time. I mean, I've had it for 2 days, so I'm not going to be an expert at it yet. But we'll see.
So, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about the support spindling mine every time because it'll just get so boring for y'all. But I'll bring it every, I don't know, maybe once a month or something just to see what the current progress is on it.
Yeah.
But I don't even have any weaving whips because I finished that up this morning too.
Well, let's see it.
Well, do you have any bows? Do you want to do yours or should I do mine real quick? Finished objects?
No, that was this.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see what I got here. Oh, first, we're kind of jumping around again. We'll get the whole thing.
Because this is my craft room, and that's the way I am. So.
Well, I meant to show you this when I was showing my sock. This is the bag that it's in. I adore this bag. It's one of these little cotton ones. But look, it says Knitter's Gonna Knit. I love it. I got them at MrYarn.com a while back.
You bought me one of those.
Yep, I got Karina. I got one for Karina too, right?
I don't know.
I did. I hope I did. Anyways, so Knitter's Gonna Knit. I love it. So that was that bag. But okay, so weaving. So I finished that hand spun stole scarf thing. Thank you. And I pulled it off and washed it this morning. But I have to tell you, this turned into kind of like one of those comedy of errors type of thing.
She wouldn't tell me this story before the podcast. She was like, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, because I was like, I can't believe I did that. Okay, so to start with, when you put your yarn onto the back beam, or front beam, depending on how you do it, you are supposed to put paper or sticks or something as it's wrapping up, like in between the fibers, so that it all stays really even, so the edge fibers stay even with the central ones. Because what can happen, especially with a really like stretchy wool or something, is that all those center strands of yarn from the warp start to stack up on themselves and start getting thicker, but the edge wants to slip to the edge side a little bit, so less yarn is getting wrapped onto the back beam than is getting into the center.
Oh no.
Yes, and so if you
you can basically turn up with something horribly warped.
Yes.
And not in the good warped weaving kind of way. But.
So I was very impatient and decided not to wait. First I tried doing it with 8.5 by 11 paper, white paper. That's what I did the first time I warped this project. And the problem with 8.5 by 11 paper is that I was weaving a 12-inch project. So my edges were still too tight. And I'm like, it'll be fine. Wool is stretchy. Don't worry about it. Okay. Well, I got about a third of the way into the project, and the edges were totally like, these are about to snap.
Oh,
tight.
wow.
Yeah, and then the inside was still all nice and loose and everything, and I went, oh, man. So I rolled the whole warp back onto the front beam, and then tightened everything up, and then I thought, well, I took the paper out because the paper was the wrong size. But my replacement paper hasn't gotten here yet, so it'll be fine.
I'm guessing not.
So I rolled it back up onto the back beam, and sure enough, I got about another third of the way into the project, and it was super tight again, and and I thought, this thing is going to be crazy when it's done. But that's okay, because this was a whole test. I haven't even showed it up close, so this is it finished. It's kind of... So you can see with the hand spun being the warp, how it shows the change in color and everything. I haven't done anything with the ends. I haven't decided how I'm going to finish those yet. But anyway, so I put it all back onto the front beam again. After ordering from Amazon some cheap craft paper that's 15 inches wide, which is how wide the thing can weave. Mm-hmm. It was like $20 for a roll that's like this big around of craft paper. I mean, seriously. And it's Amazon Prime. It took 2 days to get there. Had I just been patient, it would have been great from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I rewarped it, and it was fine after that. But then when it came off of the loom, the edges were all squished up like this. Excuse me, because it was so tight. Mm-hmm. And then I stretched it out a little and moved out the edges.
Well, you wouldn't know. I mean, it looks... It looks wonderful.
Well, I wasn't going to worry about it because I was going to felt it. Mm-hmm. I decided I was going to felt it partially because of the whole warping issue. Mm-hmm. I thought felting will be perfect. Well, there's another situation where I was not paying enough attention or not going the extra step that takes 2 seconds to write on the label that this wasn't BFL, it was superwash BFL. So when it was done, I pulled it off. It was all warped on the edges, and I thought, I'm going to go felt this, and it's going to be great.
So here it is, felted. Or not felted.
Or not melted. I literally had like piping hot water in one sink, totally freezing cold water in the other, and I'm like dunking it, and I'm agitating it, and I'm putting it into the cold. And I'm going back and forth like 5 or 6 times. Nothing happened. I'm like, what is going on with this fire?
That's hilarious.
So I finally looked it up on somebody else's stash page to see, and sure enough, they had written in their stash page
Superwash.
on the label, Superwash BFL. This is from the Be Myself Ice Pops collection, and these were my least favorite colors from the collection. This one would be which is why I was fine doing this all as kind of like a experiment thing, you know, but it actually came out okay.
I think it's wonderful. It doesn't need to be felted. I think it's great.
Well, what happened is when I dried it, I laid it kind of flat in the dryer. I have a hanging dryer. It's I put pictures of it on Instagram sometimes, but I can hang like skeins on a plastic hanger in there, or I have like racks that will lay in there with wool on them.
It's fancy.
It's been very helpful because what I was able to do is I put this across a couple hangers so that it was not flat, like flat, but the edges that were tight were kind of supporting everything else, and you could tell everything else was a little bit loose. All the rest of the fabric was a little loose. But what happened is when it dried, all that stuff that was a little bit loose kind of sucked in a little bit. And not from felting, but just fiber when it dries. Certain breeds will kind of suck in and become a little bit softer. And so it did that, but then the areas that were resting on the hangers that were kind of taut
Evened out.
Exactly. So it worked out fine.
Very serendipitous.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I would have had this horribly crazy, weird project.
It's lovely.
Well, thank you. But yeah, so I was pretty happy with kind of a nice loose weave, gives a nice drapey project. So I'm really happy with it, and I will certainly wear it.
It's wonderful. And the color is beautiful.
Thank you. I'm much happier with it woven, where it's got, because of the warp threads that have that teal going through it, which is one of my favorite colors, it kind of evens out the color, the tone of everything else.
So I don't know how well you can see it. But yeah, it's very beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's like perfectly rectangular, and it's perfect.
But the moral of the story is
Superwash does not felt.
Superwash does not felt, so write it on your labels. And also, when you're supposed to put paper or little sticks into your warp to keep everything even, put paper or little sticks into your warp to keep it even. That is my lesson for the day.
Very good one.
So anyways, it worked out fine.
But if you screw up, it'll turn out perfect.
It still comes out okay. That's the same thing with spinning. Spinning and weaving, a lot of times, it doesn't come out the way you thought it was going to in your head, but it's
wonderful
fine.
in its own way.
Yeah. And talking about spinning, should I do my spinning, or do you want to do your spinning? Do you have spinning finished?
I do not have spinning finished.
Do you have some whip you want to talk about?
We did that.
We did that. Okay. Well, I'll talk about... oh, go ahead.
I did want to talk about this and demonstrate. Should we do that now, or?
Well, I'll show my spinning, and then we'll do that, because afterwards I was going to talk a little bit about the fiber locks I did. Okay. I have yarn. What? Finished spinning. Okay. So the one I was working on that I said I was going to try to ply for this time, that was this one. This is where I took 2 plies of the Cheshire colorway, and I took one, it's the 3-ply yarn, and I took 1 ply from the new color, Mercy Heart Again, and I added it in, and it came out to be, when all was said and done, 3 ounces of 3-ply and 80 yards. But because I wasn't knitting much this week, I did a lot of spinning. So that's that one. I'll put that here. Then this one is the one that is 2 plies of Mercy Hardigan and 1 ply of Cheshire.
See the difference?
But wait, there's more.
Of course there is.
This is the last one, I promise. Okay. This one is all Mercy Hardigan. This is the 3 plies of Mercy Hardigan. Oh, and this one was 2.8 ounces and 150 yards. And this one was 2.5 ounces. So they're not full braids, but 2.5 ounces and 145 yards. So I've actually got the skein that I finished a while back of that's all Cheshire, just so you can see.
Let me hold that one.
Okay, so
Switch those.
wait, yeah, this one's part Cheshire.
Look
Okay.
at the gradient.
So there, yay! That's how they work together. So I'm pretty excited. They're all staying about the same width. The only thing is I don't know if it's because they're smaller skeins, but these ones feel crunchier than those ones do. Can you feel it?
Slightly. I think you're being picky.
Well, you know what? But you know why I'm stressed so bad about this project?
Why?
Because it's such a big project, and I'm scared to death I'm going to get the end and be like, this doesn't work. Like, it won't work for the sweater I want to make.
It'll work for something, and it'll be perfect.
That's true. It will work for something. That goes on to what we were saying just a second ago about
These are
it all
really.
works
I
out
wish
in
you
the
could
end.
see these in person. They're so. Look at that.
They can see them in person. They just have to come visit us.
Right. You have to come visit. We're in Florida.
It's a lovely place to visit. What are you doing? I feel like we're Kilroy. We're like. But this is the color that's going into it next. So the next thing,
That'll be after this.
yeah. So see, I picked this color because it's got a lot of this same red in it. So I think it'll transition nicely into.
It's so exciting. It's just
I'm excited.
fantastic.
The name of this colorway is Courtly Frogs.
Okay.
Okay, you have to see the picture to get it, but it was an inspiration image for the monthly colorway. But so that one's next, and we'll see how that. I've got it all separated out. That's why this braid is kind of small. To start spinning.
I did a transitioning sweater like this too, but I bought my yarn. She hand spun it.
A lot of people are doing it right now for that project, for that one pattern though. So
Well, they're beautiful.
thank you. So that's my yarn.
I don't know where my sweater is. I think it's in here. Yep. Do you want to see my transitioning sweater?
Yes. Because you made that up all on your own.
This is the one that I made, and what started this is we went to the Verdant Griffin open house not last September, but the September before. And since you can, buy her yarn in person, I went around and I picked 6 different colors that would work together and then knit them into this gradient.
It came out so cool. I love how that looks.
And this is the Romy pattern by, I don't know who.
I don't know either.
I wasn't
I'll look it
ready
up.
for this, but and then I got these buttons on Etsy, and we'll find where those are from too. So, and put them on there, but they're little copper buttons.
Those are so perfect for that project too.
And yeah, so that's my transitioning sweater.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. That's why I went crazy with the spinning this last week. Is because I woke up a couple nights ago and I had a bunch of things running through my head, and one of them was I really want to get those 3 sweaters done for Rhinebeck. And that is one of them that I've been spinning for this week. But it was like, I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, yeah, okay, I've got the 3 sweaters I'm going to do for Rhinebeck, and that won't be a problem. And then it just like hit me, Rhinebeck's in 3.5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 3.5 months. I was like, oh my gosh, that's not enough time at all.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You can do it.
So I've been like panic spinning all
am.
week.
This is the one that I want to finish. This is like all knit. I just have to steek it.
I love this.
Which I'm not even really afraid of steeking it. I'm just being lazy and haven't finished it. This is the
Orania or something.
Orangey or
Orangey.
it looks like orange, but the G is a J.
Yes.
And who's it by?
Oh, I don't. Oh, I do know. We
Yes.
met her.
Yes, we did meet her
At Verdon Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember though.
But it'll show up down here.
There.
So that one's mine, and I'm gonna finish this, and I'm gonna wear that to Rhinebeck. I promise.
See, the thing is that we're from Florida.
We never wear sweaters.
It's very exciting when we can go somewhere we have to wear sweaters.
This is another sweater that I did. I'll show this one to you too, because this one's completely original. I designed this. I did not write a pattern for it. I just did it for myself. But this is my Dexter sweater. Dexter from the show. And it is knit with Cosmic Fibers on Etsy. She was, when Dexter was in its heyday, she was doing Dexter-inspired colorways for each episode. And, like, for example, this one right here is the Dexter colorway. And then, actually, no, I think this one's the Dexter colorway with the gray to go with the suit. Maybe that's Kill Room or something, but as an example. So, there's 6 different colorways. And I knit them. What I did is I knit a little bit of one color, and then I would alternate the next color, and then, solid of the next color, and then alternate. And there's 2.5 repeats all the way down the sweater.
That looks so cool. It came out so neat. I love this inserted zipper.
Yeah.
That's something I've never done with the inserted zipper.
Yeah, I put the zipper in. I got the zipper. There's a place where you can order custom size zippers and everything, and it goes all the way down. And I put kangaroo pockets too. And what I did with them, if you notice how the colorway matches the sweater,
That was so cool.
I knit the pockets, if you can picture it, I knit the pockets in the round so that it was essentially the same as knitting the sweater in the round. And then I steeked 2 sides, steeked open one side and then steeked to separate them. And then invisibly seamed it on there. See, that's where the sweater is, where the pocket is. So, yeah, this was my first, 100% custom project from start to finish
That's awesome.
that I did for myself. So I'll wear that.
It looks. We need to put a picture of you in that sweater too, because it's so well fit as well.
It does.
It was like perfectly shaped.
Because if you notice, the waist is small and then it flares out because I'm wide in the hips. So, yeah, it does fit me pretty well.
It looks so good.
I just did put some, it's nothing fancy, just some shaping there.
Very cool.
Thank you. I didn't plan on bringing those out, but since
That's okay. I have no idea how long we've been recording.
I don't know either.
I know. Okay, let's do your Rolex.
Okay, so I told you that I took a braid and made roll eggs. Get one out without tearing it apart. So I was going for what I thought were poonies.
Poonies.
But I did a little research to figure out what the difference between roll eggs and poonies are. And poonies are typically made with short fibers, where roll eggs are longer fibers. So, and this is superwash merino, so technically they're roll eggs, but they're the same thing, pretty much. But I wanted to show you how I did that, because I took a braid, and took the braid apart, like that, and I made them with hand cards. These are just wool, Ashford wool hand cards. And the way I did it is, now, I'm no pro, but it goes along with how we talked about the difference between the two of us. She reads the books and she sees how things are supposed to be done and she does them and, exactly as they're supposed to be done. And I just kind of go at it, I don't know if it's right, but it works for me. So.
Better.
So anyway, I just took my braid and this probably should be split. So I'm using a little bit.
A little compacted too.
Yeah, this one's been sitting in a basket for a while. I actually dyed this myself.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I love those colors.
Yeah.
I imagine you do too.
I do. That's why I dyed them that color. So anyway, I just charge charge it like this. And since I'm using a braid, you know, the what's this called? Roving.
Roving? Oh, yeah.
That's already finished. You don't have to do a whole lot to it. It's not like you're using raw fiber. So I just charge this up pretty much like that. And then I take the other card and I just comb it, which kind of blends it just a little bit, but not too much.
Because they still stay pretty well lined up.
Yeah, so there's one. And then I just go one more time, because they're, you know, like I said, it's already prepared fiber. I'm not doing a whole lot to it. And then, that's actually kind of messy, but it's fine. Anyway, when you have it like that, now what I do, can you hold that there so I'll
There.
show? I just take two, no, it's fine. I just take, these are just 2 bamboo knitting needles. I think they're size 10. Doesn't really matter. Take one underneath and one on top and kind of hold them together and slide to the end. Whoops. Let's try that again.
It's hard from this angle.
Yeah. Just slide to the end, and the fibers are caught in between, so it gives you some leverage to start rolling. And what I would do, I'll take it. I sit it in my lap and I kind of pull a little bit. So I pull the needles away from the carder just a little bit and then roll a little bit more. This one's really not carded very well, but it's good enough. So pull a little bit away from the card and roll. And I just keep doing that, which straightens up the fibers.
That's how they pull them off of the blending boards, too.
Mm-hmm. And it also makes it come off the card.
Yeah.
Very, very neatly. So there it is on there, and then I just pull it off of the needles. And there it is.
Very cool.
So that's the way I did that. If you're interested in making your own Rolags, you know, you can just use a braid you already have. It's pretty easy if you have these.
Yeah. That's one thing I really like about working with fiber is that there's, just because it came to you in a braid doesn't mean that you have to leave it that way, that you can still do so many different things with it.
Yeah, and you can see how the colors still don't get blended up too much. They still stay separated pretty well. So it's just a different way. I think these are great for drop spinning, because you don't have a whole lot of fiber wrapped around your arm or anything. You're just holding that and you spin off the end. I think you mentioned it before. I don't know if you were telling me or if it was in a podcast. But since it's in a Rolag, when you pull it off, it already has a little bit of twist in it. I think you said that in a podcast.
Yeah, in the last episode,
Yeah.
I think.
So, anyway, that's that.
Very cool. I was gonna talk just really quickly about that fiber prep I've been doing. The reason I say really quickly is because it did occur to me that, you know, if somebody's a knitter mostly and doesn't really care so much about spinning, it's fun to listen to when we talk about the spinning, I think. Well, I hope. But, you know, when I go into the fiber prep, though, that's kind of like one step further beyond even, you know, in other words, it's something that they might just be like, oh, no, not this again, you know? and I'll be sitting there talking about it for like 5 minutes or so. And so, I think rather than putting in the insert where I do the video where it's, you know, 5 or 7 minutes long, it's kind of a short little tutorial bit about that one little step. I think what I might start doing is doing separate, like little mini-sodes or something of just that. And then that way people, if they're interested, if they want to, you know, kind of get into the fiber processing or want to know a little bit more about some of the breeds.
Or maybe just tack it on to the end of your podcast.
Oh, maybe you could do that too.
Yeah.
The one thing I liked about the mini-sode thing, though, is that somebody like on YouTube, could do a search for just that and bring
true.
up just that. So let us know what you think. Go on the group, say, yeah, move it, and you're not going to hurt my feelings. Move it onto a mini-sode or add it to the end like Kristin was saying or whatever. And part of the reason for that, too, is I try to make them shorter when I'm sticking them into the podcast, and I'm missing stuff, like, every time, you know? And then I feel like, oh, gosh, I got to go back and tell them, wait, you know, I should have told you this, too. The reason I thought of that is because when I was talking about the lock, and that's the reason I'm talking about it here, is because I was in the podcast before, and I just wanted to clarify here. When I was talking about this is the Polworth where I pulled the tips off of it. Be aware that, first of all, I did that because this one had a definitive area. It was an uncoated fleece, that there was a set area where the tip was definitely weak, and it was going to pull right off. Not every fleece is going to be like that. And particularly if you're working with a really fine fleece, when you go to snap that, you could actually be breaking good fiber because it's so fine, it's a little bit more delicate. So just, you know, test your locks first and make sure that it's got, you know, before you start trying to do, okay, well, I'm just going to pull all these tips off. Just check your fleece and see that that's, you know, something it's going to require. This particular fleece, I was really happy that it was like that because being an uncoated fleece.
Oh, goodness.
That's Polworth too.
That's nice.
But being an uncoated fleece, that when it's got that area of tender tip, what's happened is that tip has felted together and almost made a protective layer for the rest of the fleece.
So it's a good thing.
So it's a good thing. It's got all most of the grime is in there, or the dirt or veg matter is almost entirely in the tip. Now, in contrast, the other thing I was working with fiber prep this week was a Cormo from Cormo Sheep and Wool. I did a little test from one of her last show fleeces. And I brought a little bit of that to show some of the different characteristics. So if y'all remember, the one that I showed, the Polworth, had the very definite area of where that tip was weak. And this is a lock from the Cormo fleece.
That doesn't even look real.
So here is the lock. I'm hoping you can see. See, this was a coated fleece, and the only place that kind of maybe looks like it could have a little bit of something going on in the tip is so short that it's not even anything to worry about. And this is actually a lock of that fleece straight out of the wash. So all that tip area that looked like that.
So this is raw. This isn't even washed?
No, that's not washed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
But the funny thing is, you know, we talk about the different characteristics of different breeds. This is Cormo. Cormo's very springy. Wait till you see this. So this is the lock that I... See the difference here? And you'd think this is a short fiber right here. This is a shorter area of the fleece. It's not.
Wow.
It's just the Cormo is so super, super springy. Here, let me give that to you.
It feels like fiber fill, like you would buy to put in.
Yeah.
Color. It's so squishy.
But yeah, Cormo is really springy, and that's why when you spin or knit with Cormo, that fiber's going to be really, you know, got a lot of...
Do you ever spin in the grease? I mean, this you could just spin it.
You could spin it in the grease, and what that pretty much means is you take those locks, they're nice clean locks, and you just spin them straight as they are.
In the grease, meaning the lanolin is still on the on the fiber.
And some people like doing that because then when they wash the yarn and the lanolin comes out, it gives a little bit airier of a yarn. I haven't. I don't like necessarily having the lanolin all like through my stuff, but it's totally doable with that fleece. You could take a flick carder.
Sorry, I'm missing it.
You're fine. I got plenty of. I have got this fleece was 7.5 pounds, and when I washed it to test how much was going to be lost in the wash, sometimes you can lose as much as half the weight in 20%.
Wow.
I lost in the wash, which means I'm going to have like 6 pounds after washing.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But anyways, so
you
that
can
was...
knit a car cozy.
A car cozy sounds great. So So like this fleece wouldn't require having the tips pulled. So I just wanted to put that out there. This, after being washed, you could just flick this and spin right off of it. So, but anyway, so let me know what you think about tacking on tutorials at the end or just making separate mini-sodes. Because I don't want to bore people to death with stuff they're totally not interested in. So
You make it very interesting, though. At least I think so.
because it's so soft.
It is. I wish you could feel it. It's just like...
They can feel it.
You can. You have to come to Florida.
To Florida.
It's North Florida. It's not like you have to drive all the way through Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're just outside of Jacksonville.
South of Georgia. Okay, so
it's kind of like just coming to Georgia.
yes. Yeah. So that's all I have for fiber prep. I'm making sure, pulling tips. Yeah. Okay. That's all I had. Have you got anything else?
I just brought this out because you mentioned using Hayahayas, and I use Hayahayas, the circulars, so I just wanted to pull this out and just kind of, pimp a product because I love it so much. So these are the Hayahayas. This is the smalls sharp set. They actually have 4 different sets of interchangeables. They've got the small size needles, which are 2 through 8, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
2
that's the
through
set
8.
I got.
And then you have the large, which are the bigger needles. And then they also have those 2 in not dull, but these are the sharps, and then the other ones are the regular ones. So, but these are sharps, and I just had to show, I love this case. This is, all of my circular needles are in here, including the cables and some other goodies. And I just love this case because it's small, slide it into your bag, and carry all your needles with you, and it's not bulky. So inside, it's got this little Velcro part that covers up the needles. And you can see these are the tips in here. And I've got some extras. The set is down to size 2, so I've got some extras. These are size 1 circular needles. And I also have a little beading crochet hook, some other little crochet hooks in there just because I can. The red ones, these are Chiagu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one I don't know how to pronounce.
Yeah, these ones are,
Chagu or something
yeah.
like that.
these are not Hayahaya, but all of these are. And then there's this pocket up here, and in here I've got just some, use these little rubber things to help the tips twist onto the cable, so you use those to hold your grip to make them tight. I just got some other things in there. One thing I love about Hayahaya, I fell in love with this. These are,
I love that.
these are the cable ends. So if you want to use one cable and a tip as like a straight needle, you can put this on the end. Isn't it cute?
I'm so glad this camera has a macro focus on it.
And then on the back, there's another zipper pocket, and that's where all of my cables are.
I love that set.
It's just, it's brilliant. I love this set. I mean, they're great needles. The joins are great. But the case is also as great as the needles. And it's the first time that I've ever used needles where I can say that. Sometimes, it's like they're great needles, or I don't want to knock Signature, but I had a signature set, and they sell this roll, and by the time you get it all closed up, it's like carrying a bottle of wine. I'd rather carry a bottle of wine if I'm going to
roll.
carry some. Yeah, so I sold that. But anyway, yeah. Look at how small, and it's lovely. If you haven't tried them, maybe if you're thinking about buying a new set, it's a good option.
Yeah, I love that set.
So, I just want to show that because that was one of my favorite things. So
Real quick, do you want to do some, we're running kind of long, but do you want to do some stash enhancement real quick? Do you have some?
I didn't have any stash enhancement except for this.
What?
So I have stuff in progress. It's on its way here, but
Well, then can you take credit for some of mine?
sure.
No, just kidding.
This is some of my stash enhancement.
I won't talk about everything. I don't think. But there's one thing I am going to show in my stash enhancement. Kristin knows, I bet, what my 2 favorite color combinations are.
Mm-hmm.
What are they?
She likes like the painted desert kind, where purple, orange, and those colors together. And she also loves pink and orange, and pink and yellow together.
pink and yellow together.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have
Bright pink and bright yellow together.
Actually, there's two things I have to show. Okay. Well, I don't know if I have it here.
Or turquoise and purple. She likes turquoise and purple together.
I love blue and purple together. So, okay. So, Bad Amy, it does the self-striping. That's the sock I was working on before. And there were two colorways on my wish list forever. She did an update recently where she did, look, pink, orange, and like pink and
Pink
bright
and yellow.
orange. Yeah. That one's, oh, I got it upside down, sorry. Okay, that one's Heat Miser, and I got the pink and the orange coordinate to go with it. And then this one is blue and purple together. I mean, in the same update. She knew she had me. Okay, so this is the 80/20 stripy sock, and so that one's blue and purple together. I'm trying to be fast here, so I'm not going to pull everything out. But see, I got the blue and the purple coordinate for that as well.
And those are totally your colors.
They really are. Now, you know what else somebody else updated?
What?
The same thing. I keep being down here, and look at this. I swear she did this for me. Look.
This is coming to me too. This is one of the ones that's coming to me.
This is one of the ones that's your stash?
Yes.
Okay.
I just got my shipping notice.
This
today.
is. Oh, did you buy this too?
Yes, that.
Oh, you're serious.
I'm serious.
I thought you were joking, like
No,
you were stealing
I'm not
it.
stealing yours.
Oh.
That is one that's coming to me.
That's awesome. Okay, so this is Gourmet Stash, and she calls it Peach Raspberry Sangria, and she's been doing ice dyeing, which is like, I guess you put the fiber in and you put a whole bunch of ice on top, and then you put the dye on top of the ice, and then as the ice melts, it goes down into the fiber, and you get all kinds of like,
I'm so excited.
you cannot see, I can tell already, you cannot possibly see as the amount of sparkle that is in this. And I know the colors, we're not seeing how they're really going to show up on there, but there is like magenta, super bright pink and orange, and then silver sparkle just crazy throughout this thing.
This is my influence on Kim.
It is. Because I used to not like pink all that much. I mean, not this much, but here you go if you want to.
I'll
Okay.
have mine next week.
Oh, well, that's cool. I couldn't help but get
That's
that one.
hilarious, though. I didn't tell her that I bought it,
I totally thought you meant you. No, I had no idea. I thought she was saying she was going to steal it.
which I would if I didn't have
I
one
bet you
coming.
have it. Okay, there is one more thing.
Okay.
And it kind of leads
She
into...
did buy 2 of them, though.
I did buy 2.
Huh.
Did you buy 2?
No, I only bought 1.
What were you thinking?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was thinking I'd steal yours.
So the last thing I had to talk about was my mini adventure down to Mount Dora, and this is kind of part of that adventure. So I was doing a pub crawl with my friends. When I say mini adventure, my husband and I both drive Mini Coopers.
It's not a mini adventure. It's a Mini Cooper
Mini
adventure.
Cooper, yeah. And then our group is very active, and so we go to Tail of Dragon in Tennessee together, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. We go to Walt Disney World. Oh my gosh. We call it Mickey and Minnie, and that's all I think to call it. It's Mickey and Minnie. But we go to Walt Disney World together, and we do like regular events every month. And this one down to Mount Dora was this month's kind of fun weekend together, and it was, we were doing a pub crawl. Well, Vintage Rose and Kirby Werby and Suburban Stitcher made a kit, and it was updating literally during the pub crawl.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh no, I really need to get that kit. I mean, okay, no, you know. I wanted the kit bad. There's like 20 of them they were total that they were making. And so I literally had to have one of the mini owners charge my phone for me because it was almost dead. So during dinner, he was charging the phone for me. And then I had to leave the restaurant to go outside to get decent cell service to go and get this update. But I'm very glad that I did. So this is the Suburban Stitcher bag. I forget what they call this kit. It was all like summer awesomeness. But, so this is the adorable fabric for the bag. And then see the lining fabric is this kind of black and white stripey with the handles are these cute little,
That's useful too.
it's not accurate though.
Oh.
I was so hoping that these were going to be accurate and I could measure as I'm knitting, but I got out my ruler and I checked and they're not.
Oh well. It's still cute.
It's very cute. And then that was Suburban Stitcher's bag. And see, this is her little tag. Suburban Stitcher, very cute. And then Vintage Rose's contribution was this little stitch marker set. And see, it's got a shell and flip-flops and a bikini top and a pail of sand and some lounge chairs, I think is what that is. Yeah, lounge chairs and an umbrella. So that's the cute little beachy theme. And then
the Curvy Wurby yarn.
the curvy wurby yarn. This is the same colorway that Kristin was showing last week. Except it's self-striping. Oh, see, look at, is that not crazy? I love her stuff. So I had to get that during my mini adventure.
It is adorable.
I'm excited. Because
And I'm a little jealous. I did not get one.
I'm sorry. She's going to update this colorway as a self-striping in like 6 months.
I like the variegated one.
Oh, do you? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. I was a little worried.
But I have this one in self-striping.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's like the same colors, right? But it's self-striping.
Yeah. This is Wild Child Fairy.
Very cool.
It's the same colors. I think this is the one I showed you last week.
Yeah. And what's
Yeah.
that one called? It's Bermuda,
Bermuda
Triangle.
Triangle.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. It is the same colorway. I
Yeah.
thought so. But yours has sparkle.
Yes. Of course it does.
Oh, this base is soft and squishy. It is 75% merino, 25% nylon, 450 yards.
Look at her
So.
stuff, though. Really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
how
cool.
fun is that?
Very cool.
And then that's another one. This is another Bermuda Triangle because I was so excited when I saw it up. I ordered another one. So now I have two. This one is up. They're both the same. This one has just been reskeined. But oh well.
So that's
I love
it.
her stuff.
That's it. I was only going to talk about one thing, but I couldn't help myself. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about with that mini adventure is whenever I go on one of these trips with the mini owners, I like to try and find a yarn shop I've never been to. And the one I found this time was called The Yarn Lady in Summerfield, Florida. I'm trying to bring up my picture so I can show you. Excuse me, let me see. Okay. Here it is. It's so funny because, let me see if I can get these up for you. So here we get to the shop, and first thing is, at the front of the shop, it just says yarn on top of the store. Okay, so it's like, all right, well, we're in the right place. I have found the yarn. And then we went inside, and I think I said this is Summerfield, Florida, right? Anyways, Summerfield, Florida, and so you go inside, and it's really an adorable little shop. There's a old spinning wheel up front, and old spinning wheel.
I was going to say, I'll just watch the podcast.
Yeah, she's gonna have to go back and watch the podcast to see these. So, and one thing I noticed when I first came in is it seemed like to me there was a lot of novelty yarns, which is not something I usually knit with. They definitely have their place. But you know what occurred to me was that in Hawaii, they had almost all novelty yarns. And I think it's kind of a lot of people knit with them in the in hotter areas because you can keep crafting and keep doing the knit, but you're not gonna, working with wool sometimes if you're making a sweater in the middle of summer is a little hot. But anyways, I don't know if I'm going to leave these pictures like this or if I'm just going to embed them over the top in the podcast. But it's just a really cute little welcoming store. She's got a great area in the back for sitting and working on projects together, and there's kind of a sale area in the back. And like I said, when I first came in, I noticed a lot of novelty yarn, but then as I kind of got more into it, she had Malabrigo, she had oh, and she has the Malabrigo spinning fiber. That's the only spinning fiber I really saw. But she has some really interesting of the Japanese yarns. I can't believe I forgot to bring the yarn I got from her. I'll show them some other time, but they were really cool. They had kind of a stainless steel yarn. I think you have some of that, don't you?
No, I didn't actually buy that, but I know what you're talking about.
But she also had, and I hope these pictures show up, she had these gorgeous felted hats that she brought in from France that were for sale. And there's some really, I'm just going to have to embed the actual pictures so you can get a better look at them. Really, really cute.
Where is Summerfield?
Summerfield is kind of northwest of Orlando. It's kind of right on the outskirts of the Ocala National Forest.
Okay.
And it's a nice little area. She had a good yarn selection. She had some great baby, outfits. I think I'm showing the same pictures again. But it was just a very welcoming shop. And the funny thing is you can tell that it is decorated from, stem to stern, is it, or front bow to stern, or however you want to say it. When the bathroom looks like this. This is the bathroom. I mean, there was yarn for sale in the bathroom.
Wow.
So I'm sure that was probably just backstock, but I thought that was just adorable. And I have to say, when we walked in, it was Chris and I, my husband, came in, and she was on the phone trying to help a customer through raglan sleeves. So she's trying to explain this to the customer, but she still took the time to greet us and say hello, even though she was on the phone. And then as soon as she got off the phone, she asked me, "Is there something I can help you find?" When I said, "No, I'm just looking," she said, "Okay, great." And then she immediately looked at my husband and asked him, because he went to go sit down, and there's a little table up front. She asked him, can she get him some coffee? She's like, "Oh, while you're waiting, you want some coffee?" And I thought that was really welcoming. And even though I didn't necessarily need help with anything, I really appreciated that she made that effort. Because I know a lot of times when you go into a yarn shop, and she's the owner, the woman that was in that day, and I unfortunately didn't get her name, but it's just nice to be welcomed. And I don't necessarily need somebody to follow me around while I'm shopping, but I certainly appreciate the effort that she made.
To be acknowledged.
Exactly. And the fact that she offered Chris coffee, it was really nice.
That was nice.
He was like, "Nah, I'm used to it. I'm good." It's just like, but it was so cute because after we were done, I was done shopping, I was telling her that I was here with my mini owners group and that had kind of made a side trip away from the group. And got to talking a little bit about cars, and she said, "Oh, I wanted a Mini Cooper, but I wound up getting a new Beetle because I wanted it wrapped a certain way, and it wouldn't work with the Mini Cooper, so I got the Beetle instead." Then she said, "You have to see my car. It's around back." So my husband and I drove back, and wait until you see this car. It is adorable. So she had her Beetle wrapped so it looks like a ball of yarn, and then it has black eyelashes, and it says "The Yarn Lady" on the side. That was so
That's
cute.
adorable.
I actually took like 3 pictures of it. And then
She sends me a text of this, and I was like, "Oh my God, you found my car!"
yeah, exactly.
Because I have a bug too. It's not pink, but I would like it to be pink.
You want it to look like a yarn ball?
Sure.
I like that. I think it's pretty cool.
I have a friend who does wraps.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's very cool. So, anyways, I just thought that was adorable. If you're in the area or you don't mind making a little bit of a side trip, definitely check it out. She was very welcoming. They do have a pretty good yarn selection. It's kind of like a little bit of everything. And I guess that's really all I had to say about that. Oh my gosh, we are way long. But
We are, but we do have one more important thing to do.
we have a giveaway. And Kristen's bringing up the random.org site right now, and I am bringing up the thread. This is for her amazing, ooh, we just got up close and personal there, project bag with the little keychain sock blocker inside that she's given away. And I'm going to tell her the numbers for the posts, and she's going to run the RNG and tell us who won. Okay. It starts at number 2. Oh, by the way, not being able to respond to some of these posts was very difficult because some people have the cutest stories about how they learned how to knit, or it was really neat, and because it's a giveaway thread, we can't respond back to them. And so that was really hard. So feel free to come and talk about it in the episode thread too. And then
We did love all your comments.
definitely, it was awesome. Okay, and then the last number is 20.
20. All right, so we have,
Is it showing up?
Can you see?
2 and 20.
2 to 20. And we're going to generate.
Oh my gosh, you know what?
There's your winner.
That was the one post that somebody deleted because they accidentally posted twice.
Whoops.
You need to do it again. That is hilarious.
All right.
Hey, we're pushing
We're
them
going
again.
again. You know what's funny?
That's hilarious.
Can you see your winner? It's number 13. That's
13.
my lucky number.
Yep. I knew that. That's funny that it came up 13. Okay, so number 13 is Grammy Knitterbug. Grammy Knitterbug is Karen from Avondale, Louisiana. And her answer to our question of how did you learn how to knit socks, or if you haven't learned yet, why not, was she learned through your sock class. And her favorite is Toe Up and the Frog Lip Kiss. I never say it right. Frog
Lip Kiss.
Lip Kiss Heel. Yeah. Congratulations to Grammy Knitterbug, and send me a PM with your address and I will get that out. A quick note, I have not sent out the last prize yet. It is going to England or UK, somewhere on the other side of the pond. And I have not made it actually to the post office because I have to go to the actual post office to get that shipped off. So sorry for the delay, but it will go out, and I'll probably send this lovely project bag to Grammy Knitterbug at the same time.
Congratulations. I hope you enjoy it.
I'm sure that she's going to get a kick out of it. I love that one.
Yeah.
I wonder if I swapped it out with something else, if she would notice and kept it.
You could give her a Ziploc bag. No. You're going to get
We wouldn't do that. Well, thank you everyone for coming and watching the show, and hope to see you again soon. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Or week. Yeah, okay.